So one of today's jobs is to take the nose section out of one of our M60s. Bit dark in here, but there you go. Plan is to weld these pieces on so that we can get the chains on it and lift it out, because as you can see it's been completely cut out. So we'll see how we get on. And hopefully it doesn't land on anybody's toes. Okay, so there they are. They're all welded on. Hopefully the welds will hold. And we'll see if we can lift her off.
Is the wiring harness burnt through on both sides?
Yeah.
Don't put your fingers in there. Oh, that coming with it, look.
Okay.
Look at all this, look. Drag it on. Drag it.
Yeah, it is.
Let me get a bar.
There's a couple of, if you undo those bolts though, Nitro.
Which bolts?
There's two bolts here that hold that on. Yeah. The barrel's off, we're just trying to clean it up a little bit so we can get the sleeve in. It'll come up okay when we eventually get it all reasonably level. So plodding on. We have Nitro doing exactly the same up there.
Oh.
So sooner or later it'll fit. Ooh, looks a bit tight, So we are preparing to connect the gun barrel back onto the tank. And Nitro, what's your thoughts? What's the master plan?
The plan is, I'm thinking use the barrel support combined with the insert we just welded in here. So by the time we line them both up, I think we'll be about spot on, and then that will give us a bit of hopefully a bit of support between the two. We'll just have to lower the mantle at the end of that gun there till it marries up with the barrel, and I think, as I say, using that in the middle, it should all weigh itself out, balance right, I'm thinking.
I think you're probably right, so
we'll give it a go.
We'll see how we get on.
Yeah.
If it looks like a tank again in a bit, you'll know we got it right.
Yes.
Try not to put it through the windscreen. And hopefully it will just slot in.
So you might already know, but this vehicle is one of our M60 main battle tanks, one of the 8 that we brought into the country early this year, and we finally decided we're going to be taking it to Operation Market Harborough. As you probably saw in our last video, we were taking a load of vehicles, but because the M60 is such a beast, especially when trying to get it on and off the back of the truck, we thought we'd make a whole video just about it. The vehicle weighs about 55 tonnes in total, however obviously the front piece of armour that covers the driver has been taken off, and we estimate that weighs between 1 and 1.5 tonnes. So as you can imagine, it does help reduce the weight a little bit, but it is still quite a beast. Now with this M60, because we haven't had the chance to get it up and running yet, so we're using what we call the Berlier. It's a French recovery truck from around the 1960s, and to say this vehicle is an absolute unit is an understatement. Now surprisingly, although we do have quite a few vehicles that are very similar weight to the M60, it's quite shocking actually that we don't actually have that many vehicles that we can use to help get them on and off the back of lorries. So now all the other vehicles we've got there, we've got the final one of the day, and that's the M60. So the idea is, obviously once he's moved out of the way, we're going to use the Berlier to hopefully get it up onto it. We have done it before, so hopefully it goes all right. We're going to get run over. We originally bought the Berlier about 6-7 years ago, and the only reason we bought it is for its crane on the back, and it was for the Sherman Jumbo restoration that we're eventually going to be getting back onto. Because the turret on top of the Jumbo weighs about 6 tonne, we needed something quite big to help us get it on and off. But it's ended up being very useful for all these other jobs like this M60. Now, although the Berlier has a huge amount of power, trying to get this M60 up the hill and onto the back of the truck was definitely pushing it to its absolute limits, especially when it was an absolute struggle trying to get it lined up in the very first time. Now, as you can probably see from the video, it's ended up taking us quite a few shunts just to get it loaded. As you can imagine, as you're turning one way, the whole vehicle wants to turn itself the other way, and just making sure that you don't have too much of an overhang on either side of the truck, it is quite a challenge. And annoyingly, our yard isn't the best for loading these huge vehicles. Because of the size of the M60 and the size of the truck, it meant that we couldn't come in and spin the truck around, so we were loading downhill. It meant we ended up having to load uphill. But it's just one of those things you come across when you work with these big vehicles. Hopefully one day we'll be able to have a nice big yard, have it nice and flat and concreted, and it will help a huge amount when we're doing these sort of jobs.
Come forward.
What's the plan now?
No, it's recording.
What's the plan?
So what we're going to do is we're going to attach the winch now, so we're holding the tank, put the Berlier in behind, or take the Berlier off, get him straight, put him in behind, and then joint pull, so on the winch and push him with the truck. Cool.
When moving vehicles of this sort of size, it is always going to be quite a challenge. Now luckily we don't have to worry about this, but you always have to get a movement order when getting these vehicles from one place to the other. Thankfully the lorry drivers and the company they work for, they sort all of this out, but because the vehicles are so heavy and so wide, they end up being too wide for a normal carriage.
So after about an hour of shunting backwards and forwards and backwards, finally we've got it on. Another 30 minutes to strap her down, get her over to Market Harborough, and then try and get her off and get her in position over there. So we'll do a little bit more of a clip when we get over there, but it won't be very long because we're all ready for a beer. So another half hour and we'll do a bit more.
And with a bit of editing magic, we are now at the showground, and thankfully it's a lot easier unloading the vehicle than it is loading up. And thankfully a friend of ours had a lovely vehicle who could help tow it off. It's an M578 light recovery vehicle, and it's very interesting. I've never seen one of these before, but it's fair to say it did a real fantastic job getting this 55-ton beast off the back of the truck.
And he just stands and watches.
I'm just seeing how it's supposed to be done. And I'm learning, and then I'll do it wrong again. That is the face of confidence.
Ever got the welding yet? That weren't too bad, was it, really, at the end? Time for a celebratory beer.
So here we are, she's finally unloaded at Market Harborough. Loads of vehicles here, anybody's looking for something to do, this is a good show to come to. But yeah, our M60 took a bit of loading, unloaded a lot easier. All we've got to do is get it back on Monday morning.